Hey y'all, it's Dustin. So today I just wanted to talk a bit about writing spells, because I know that's something that I think a lot of people have a lot of trouble with when they first start out in the craft, and I know it's something I had a bit of trouble with, and I've gotten a lot better at it since. So I thought today I've got some stuff typed up, just some notes. We could go through that a little bit, like the process of writing a spell, and I'm going to show you a bit of mine from my personal grimoire and stuff like that. So, and it's such a lengthy topic, so I'm just going to try and sum it up in this video. It's not going to be incredibly detailed, but just the gist of it. Yeah, so to start, just a bit of a disclaimer. Not all spells work for everybody. I have things that I've written and done that have worked absolutely beautifully for me, but that doesn't mean that they're going to work for you or for someone else. I personally think that everyone has their own way of doing things. I think the most powerful way to do a spell is to make your own or write your own. I believe that one should, like, if they do find one and they want to use that one, I think they should take it and they should fine tune it and like rearrange it to fit themselves and their own intention. So yeah, what is a spell? To start off, a spell to me is a way of manifesting an intention. It can be done physically or it can be done mentally, and a spell can use words and symbols, or it could use none of that. It could do neither. And spells sometimes too, I personally believe that we're all trying to do the exact same thing. I think a spell just comes under many different names. I think a spell has been, or could be called a blessing, a curse, an incantation, a jinx, a kododama, a mantra, or even a prayer. When I think of people of the Christian community praying, that to me that's the same thing as a spell, just different words for it. We're all asking the universe for help, just in our own way and with our own word for it. There are so many different ways you can do a spell too. You can do it via the burning of candles, like I have in the background. I'm not doing a spell right now, I just have these are my decorative ones just to have lit in the video. But you could do it via the burning of candles. You could do a spell in conjunction with the phases of the moon. You could do it surrounded by the 5 elements, which are water, earth, fire, air, and spirit. There's an infinite number of ways to do spell work. So how do you write an actual spell? This is where it like really gets in deep. And I'm gonna be looking at my notes a lot because this is probably the most in-depth part of it. The first thing that you need to do when you want to write a spell is figure out what your intention is. You have to figure out exactly what it is you want to do, and you have to, and I cannot stress this enough, you have to be specific. Specificity is so important when it comes to magic and spell work. And I have a saying that I go by just to remind me, because you always want to be safe. So I always say, specificity is safety. Okay? So once you decide upon an intention, the next thing you need to do is decide what items you'll need for your spell that correspond with your intention. Now, there are some items in the craft that are good for anything you want to do ever. They're like the go-to general rule of thumb item. Like it'll work for any cause, any intention. And just to give a few examples, clear quartz is probably the best crystal to use if you have nothing else. Rosemary is a really good herb to use if you have nothing else. White candles are great to use if you have nothing else. Those, like if you only want to have a few things or if you need to be discreet about your practice, those are good ones to just have. And they're all super easily explained. Like white candles, everyone has some of those. Clear quartz crystals, you could just say, oh, it's pretty and I wanted to decorate, you know? Those are things that can be easily explained, and if you just want to have one of each thing, those are good ones to go with. Now, if you do have access to other materials, I would say use those instead, because you can get more specific with these. For example, if you were trying to do a love spell, you would want to use rose quartz instead of clear quartz, the flower rose instead of rosemary, and pink candles instead of white candles. If you want to do a spell for prosperity, you would want to use, let's say, citrine. That's a great crystal to use instead of clear quartz, or cinnamon as a spice or an herb, and green candles instead of white candles, and like so on and so forth. You just gotta mix and match per spell need. Now, correspondences, I wouldn't say they're the most important thing in spell work, but if you can correspond your items to your intention, it'll do like nothing but add more potency to the spell. So let's say you don't have access at all. You have no access to any items that you might see used in everyday witchcraft. You can't get crystals, you can't get herbs, you can't get candles. You don't have any of that at your fingertips. You can't go buy it at a store, whatever. There are so many natural ways to correspond with your spell's intention. And I want to go into a couple of them. One way is to use the days of the week. And I think this is one that people forget about a lot. You can use the days of the week. Monday is great for divination. Thursdays are great for prosperity and money work and career spells. Friday is great for romance and self-love and sexual desire, that type of stuff. Sunday is absolutely amazing for healing, like healing spells, self-healing, that kind of stuff. Never use spell work in place of going to a doctor. go to your doctor if it's serious. But like if you need emotional healing done, Sunday is a great day for that. And another way to correspond with your spell's intention is to use the moon cycle. The new moon is great for banishing negativity and doing divination. The waxing moon is lovely for drawing things into your life. The waning moon is best for letting go of things. And the full moon is great for just about any purpose. So yeah, those are some more natural ways to correspond with your spell's intention if you don't have actual items at your use. And then after you have done all this, after you've gotten your correspondences in check, you can write your actual spell. There's so many ways to do this. You can use actual words and write down exactly what you want your intention to be, and then you can burn that piece of paper that you wrote it down on. When writing anything in spell work though, you have to be extremely careful. This is where that specificity comes into play again. When you want something to happen in a spell and you're writing it down, you have to write it like it's already true, like it's already real, like it's already happened, all that. You don't want to write that you want something. You write that you already have it. If you write down that you want something, the spell will make you want it more. It's not going to give it to you. If you write that you already have it, the universe will give it to you. So for example, if you wanted to be like more susceptible to love, if you wanted to draw love into your life, you would write down, I am susceptible to love. If you wanted a steady source of income each month, you would write down, I have a steady source of income this month, etc. Another way of doing like writing a spell is doing candle magic, like I said, with candles burning, and you'd light candles of corresponding color and let them burn. You can do sigil magic using letters and symbols. Sigil magic is very similar to writing like a spell with just words. You write down what you want, the same intention, same way, being specific, and then you turn those letters and words into symbols. I'm probably gonna do like an entire video on that topic alone, sigil making, and I'll probably maybe candle making too, maybe combine them into one video, because that's my go-to. Sigil magic is my go-to way of doing spell work. So I'm probably gonna do a video like that sometime. I am going to today too. I'm gonna show you some spells in my personal grimoire, just to give you some ideas. But before we do that, I want to talk more about like the specificity with spell work. When I say be specific with this bit, because like yeah, you gotta be specific with spell work, but when I say be specific, I don't mean to ask for something specifically. When you need money, you don't ask for set amount of dollars. You don't say, I need $900. You don't say that. You can't be that specific. When you're trying to draw love into your life, if you want to fall in love with someone, you don't describe that person to a T. You don't do that. When it comes to spell work, you have to leave space within the spell for the universe to write, okay? You need to leave space for the universe to specify. You can't be greedy when it comes to spell work. So be specific when it comes to your tools, when it comes to like the days of the weeks, the herbs you're using, etc. But when it comes to writing about what you want, I recommend being specifically vague so the universe can specify for you, if that makes sense. Just don't be writing down like, I want $1 million by next week. Like, don't be doing that. Like if you're lonely and you want like a pet companion or something like that, don't ask for a specific type of pet. Maybe just say, I have a pet in my life, and just let the universe be like, here's a cat, here's a fucking Labrador, you know? Like, be open to what the universe is willing to give, because if you get greedy and you ask for too many specific things, it'll stop giving you the things that you want and the things that you need. So just be careful with that. So another thing I want to talk about before I show you some of the spells in my grimoire is protection when it comes to spell work, because I think some people don't realize that this is a thing you should do, and it has to do with like that specificity again. When I write a spell, I like to make sure, this is my own personal practice, I like to make sure that there's absolutely nothing negative that can come out of it. It's not going to hurt anyone or affect anyone badly. Obviously, if you take part in curse work and hex work and stuff like that, you're totally fine with doing that stuff. So if you are, ignore this part of the video. But I will put down at the end of my spell a clause saying that this will not hurt anyone, myself, anyone else. I will literally write down, and I always put this in at the end, is this will cause no harm unto myself or others. I always put that in there just as a general clause because I don't want it to affect anyone in a bad manner. Now, if you're trying to get back at some bitch, you go for it and do you. Everyone's allowed to do what they want to do in their own craft. Good for you. You get her done. But another thing with protection is some people believe in casting circles. If you want to try that out and see how it works for you, go for it. That's totally a good recommendation. I've done it a couple times, only like a rare occasion, like when I feel it's absolutely necessary, but like I usually don't. I just like to get my sage and I'll cleanse my entire space, and I cleanse any people that are in the building partaking in the practice, and myself. That's all I ever feel the need to do, but other people like to be more protective, so if you ever want to cast circles, you're gonna have to find the info elsewhere because I don't really know that much about it. I don't really do it myself. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about protection a little bit just to get that in your head. That way you do protect yourselves when you're doing ritual. Don't need anyone having any harm come out of it. So let's show you the stuff in my grimoire. Okay. So I just started writing in this. Those of you that have been watching my channel, I just got this a few weeks ago. So I guess I'll just show you some of the stuff I have. This is the first page. It just says Book of Shadows, and I just did it with a ballpoint pen that I got with my art supplies. So yeah, that's what that is. And then I have, let me count how many. 1, 2, 3. I have four spells that I'm going to show you, and they're all different. I wanted to give you guys a bit of a variety. The first one that I want to talk to you guys about, and like, okay, when it comes to like, even with these spells that I have written down, I don't always stick exactly to my grimoire. I will take these and I will like change them to suit my needs. So it has a list of ingredients and like the ritual, but I might change it up each time I use it. But I do have these down as like a general, hey, this is good for that. And like, feel free to change it if you want to, Dustin. You know, this is like my personal family grimoire. Like if this is still all held together a decade from now and I have a kid and they're practicing too, I'm gonna give it to them. Yeah, so let's start with the first one, shall we? The first one I called Chocolate Kiss. It's a love spell, and I have like ingredients written down. So I have, this is this one's page. I'll just show it to you quick just so you can see it. Chocolate Kiss, it's a love spell. I drew like 2 people down there about to kiss. Yeah. So this one has like, let's say rose to bring love is in this. Apple blossoms, if you have that available. This is one like I never have apple blossoms, but it's something that I would like to put in it. So put apple blossoms to make the love immortal. Cinnamon, I always have some of that on hand to stimulate and excite passions. Calendula, which if you don't know is marigold. You guys have seen marigold around. To bring love, joy, and constancy to the relationship. That way the relationship's long lasting. Lavender for devotion. Fennel for sincere flattery. Fennel's great for flattery if you ever need that. Yarrow, and this one is, this spell is a bit interesting because I have also cocoa, honey, strawberries, vanilla, and water. And I want to tell you about the ritual because this is a spell that you would actually eat part of it. Only specific bits that you can't eat most of these herbs. The ritual would be, I wrote down to mix the above herbs together. Put the mixture in a cauldron. Combine cocoa, honey, and water in a small pan over medium heat, whisking constantly for a few minutes. Add a splash of vanilla to subtly seduce. Dip one of the strawberries into the sauce and eat it. And then you would light the herb mixture on fire and let it burn. Just this last week, I did a spell that we went off of this with a friend of mine, and we changed it a bit to suit our needs, but we also lit some pink and red candles, and we covered them in I used my own moon oil, and she used her own oil that she had, and then we rubbed cinnamon on the candles too for when it burnt, and then we put the herb mixtures that we made in some sigils that we made, and we burnt the sigil paper with the herbs inside, so it was a lot. And that was just one way that I had taken this and changed it up a bit to suit my needs. The second one, this is a spell I would never really do myself, but it popped into my head one day, so I thought to write it down just in case. Because I have friends who are okay with doing this type of spell work, but I would never, just because I think it's like a darker energy, something that I normally wouldn't do, but I wrote it down in that way in case they ever need it. And this one's called, oh Jesus, my book's so big I can barely get my hands around it. It's called Poison Apple, and there's an apple over there that I drew. I grew up very artistic. This one actually has, it doesn't really take a lot, it's a very simple spell. It has an actual spell that you can either write down or read aloud, however you do things. And the spell says, apple of poison without a bite, rot this relationship, leave a blight. Apple of poison, as in Snow White, cut this kinship, dim its light. Apple of poison, so red and bright, end this trip, finish it right. And that's like an actual spell. And all this takes is a single apple. You would cut the apple in half, eat one half of the apple, the half that represents you, and then the other half of the apple that represents the other person, you would just let it decompose until it's sickly sweet. Like till it's decomposed and dead and gross. And this is a spell to end a relationship with someone. Like if you're having someone give you a hard time and you don't want them in your life anymore, this is a good way to end that relationship in a calm, slow manner. So that's another spell. This one is one of my favorites, my third one. It's called Black Candle Burning, and this is a spell to banish negativity, loneliness, help with self-healing, depression, that kind of stuff. And all you need for this is myrrh oil. Honestly, you can use any oil that you want, but that's a good one to get rid of negativity. Black candles, great for banishing negativity, and a piece or pieces of paper. The actual ritual, you would anoint black candles with the oil, light them, calm your mind, think of everything that makes you lonely and happy, etc. Write each thing that comes to mind on the paper. When you were finished, you would light the paper on fire and let it burn, and you would let the candles burn all the way down completely. And then you would discard the ashes either into a source of running water or into the breeze, anything that'll carry the ashes away from you. And that's a really good spell, even if you don't believe in spell work. Let's say, I don't know why you're on this video, but hi, even if you don't believe in spell work, this is something good. I think this would even be a good thing just to like a state of mind practice, like a meditation that'll help you let go of something or let go of something of the past. That's what this is good for. And then last one I'm going to show you. This is one of my favorites. I do it probably every full moon. I think I'm going to start doing it every new moon too, every aspat. It's called Aspat of Desire. And literally all you need for this is either a tarot deck or a set of runes. So that's it. That's all you need. What you would do is on that night, either of the full moon or the new moon, whichever you're doing. I like to do it on the full moon just because it's more of a full moon spell to me, like a wishing spell. It is a wishing spell. That's what this is. So on the night of the full moon, you would search for a tarot card or a rune from that set that represents what you want to draw into your life during the upcoming lunar cycle. So it's a wishing spell. If you wanted to draw love into your life, you could use the Lover's card. If you wanted to draw money into your life, Ace of Pentacles, and so on and so forth. So after picking a suitable piece, either card or rune, whatever, you would remove it from its set, and then you would lay that card or rune in the moonlight after imbuing it with your intention. So what I would do is I would take the card from my tarot deck, because I don't have a set of runes, I just use my tarot. Take the card and I would hold it in my hands and imbue it with the energy that I wanted, like the idea. I would be like, oh please, like give me this, I need this in my life, yada yada. I would think of what I was wanting to draw into my life, and then I would lay it in the moonlight. I always use my windowsill right over here, and I set it on top, like the rest of the deck is face down. I set the card that I'm wanting to draw into my life on top, face up, and then you just leave it there all night, or at least during the whole full moon, and let it grant your wish, essentially. So that's the last one I wanted to show you. I have one more, but it doesn't look so pretty. I was trying to draw something on it and I messed it up, and I have yet to fix it, so I'm not going to show you that. But those are some spells that I have in my own personal grimoire, and I just wanted to share those with you. So the whole main thing with spell work and magic and all of that stuff is that it should be treated like an art form. You have to be creative, and it takes a lot of practice combining correspondences with like herbs, crystals, candles, all of it in one pile. It takes a lot of practice, and you have to do it often. Intention is everything as well. If you're not putting your intention into it, it's not going to happen. So have fun with it and get creative and let yourself grow in the practice. If you don't actually put in the work and practice it, you're not going to get any good at it. Like intuition, intention, magic, spell work, all of that, they're just like any other muscle in your body. If you don't work it out, it's not going to grow any. Okay. So that's all I got to say. Hopefully that was a good generalization of spell writing. This is a lot how I do it, but if you want to, you can take from from how I do it and use it your own way. Yeah, I don't know. I've been gone for about 3 weeks. It's nice to be back for a bit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you very soon, I hope. I have a few other things typed up, video ideas. I type it all up on my laptop, which is right here. And that way I have like a set way of what I'm gonna be fucking talking about. But okay, I'm rambling now. I love you guys, and I will see you very soon. Okay.